wonderful humans, and welcome back. So we have, gosh, I've forgotten the name of the show already. Seeking Sane Shit. Tasmanian Politics is a weekly show. Seeking Sane, I think entertainment in Tasmania tonight. I think a talk show is needed, so eventually this will roll into the format of a talk show. At the moment, it's just a digestion of horror and shock. And I think as we're on the precipice of the wonderfully woke and hippie and astrological, because we are just stardust and energy, and I don't know how we even begin to work, except that we are all the quagmire of compost, except for the interjection of meteorites. And I think 200, but who at the approximate count would be difficult to because there's space junk. The amount of space junk up there is terrifying. So the state of things, the seeking the sanity, the seeking sane shit show of Tasmanian political comedy, which will slowly rebrand into In Tasmania Tonight, starts with a roundup of things, the state of things in the week, from a Monday to a Sunday or whatever a week is. Then we've got the top roundup of posts. Now, the Facebook post, I haven't investigated. I found Instagram the most confusing thing of my human existence. But the Instagram, the YouTube, the other mediums to share visual content, and we crave that, and we exist in that, and I'm pretty much a 50-50. I don't watch and never have television. I was never brought up to watch that. I remember behemoth television boxes that were bigger than me, and one was black and white and just sound, and the other was just picture, and no, just that wasn't me. You know, it's always been live performance and theatre and language and speaking and the presence of being in front of others. And one of the world's top phobias, one of the world's greatest fears, is public speaking, is to be in the public eye. And for me, that does not even register. There is a definite distinction in the roles we all play as people, you know, as parent, father, grocery shopper, doctor, connoisseur, whatever. The distinction is if I'm in the public eye, I own it. I'm 100% there, and nothing penetrates. I have zero control, and truly it's not my business what's going on between your ears. If you're unhappy, I wish you light, love and healing. But if you come into my sphere, I'm hoping it's to laugh your guts out, mate. That's what comedy is about. That's what comedy and political comedy is. The jugular, it's the antidote, it's the fuck me, why? And I did my apprenticeship of 20 years working with children, looking into the eyes of the most broken little humans on the planet, and being privy, and not for the want of it, but teachers are the most, and nurses and doctors and the fucking cashier at Woolies and the cleaners fucking rule the planet. The people who keep humanity going and yet are at a base level pay and are denigrated and are not receiving the godlike treatment they deserve. We flip society around. We do not need a trillionaire, while each of us at the base level in poverty, and the biggest, actually 3 jokes, there's the Bruce Lee, there's Tasmanian politics, and there's the 2 aliens that look at planet Earth. And one of them says to the other, they're both in hysterics, there's a debt, like Greece is bankrupt, China owes 20 trillion Germany's back. No, Germany's, I don't know. Fuck it, they all owe each other money. And the guy's rolling on the floor going, yeah, and personally, yeah, they all fucking have debt. And the other alien's laughing and going, but why? The planet gives them everything for free. And it does. We invent the hierarchy of power, and we still 1,000 years from 1066. And I will put my hand on my heart and say a blessing to the English government and myself being, a descendant of that fucking race. We in part uphold law. The monarchy, the law fucking arrested that filth. There's no words for it. I'm sorry, I can't even go there. That's not what this is about at the moment. This is an aside. I do comedy and Tasmanian political comedy, but any money I raise in a heartbeat fights, and always has before this even happened. And you say no, you find a sanity, an outlet, because you can't keep digesting the horrors. And on the comical level, on the purely shits and fucking giggles and beyond fucking funny that has come into my explosive realm of consciousness, because not being an illiterate ground dweller, not being indoctrinated from birth by the Tasmanian idiot box, not being victim to the news media coverage, which is the journalism-owned facilities of the Liberal Party for the last decade. And hang your head in shame. Journalists are just gossip mongers now. Clickbaiting, gossip mongers. Here's the bloody little screen. You pay me $1 a week and I'll tell you a sad story. And your psyche doesn't need to be filled with that. The empathy dies. The literate, I'm trying to find even a stronger word, the perspective you have on intellectual discernment and discourse and the ability to perceive fucking knowledge, disseminate and make choice is eroded by being force-fed, like, the fat feeding, the fat cunts that feed the fat ones. What are they called? I haven't had a cunt for a while. They've been so overdue. What are they called? Feeders. It's the political system down here. It is stagnant and rotting, and it is a disparaging disgust that because of your postcode, all government schools, and every principal, and I love this, principals have principals, of course they do, that's why they're principals. And I was principal class, I was writing international baccalaureate curriculum, when I first graduated teaching. If that school hadn't have been bankrupted by the criminal welfare stealing it, IB people, the best philosophy. We are one planet Earth, we are one species human, and every child has a global education. Every child on planet Earth can travel to any university, can be part of any culture, can learn, can grow. And comedy and drama, that's what I was on about. That's what I was teaching. Drama. What else does drama and comedy and theatre and the human interaction of voice and laughter above all else, do but heal us? So, back to the show. Might have to change the show. It's just going to be called Entertainment Tonight. The itty bitty Tassie show. Itty bitty in Tasmania tonight. Yes, I am a singer. Also, the beautiful anthem of the stadium. Got to revisit that with some better graphics. Footy changes lives. Remember that when, hold on people, fucking camera went sideways. Woohoo! Woohoo! Alright, so the show consists of the state of things. So we've got the news. God, I keep going off topic. NEWS, the north, south, east, and west, the directional forcing of thought after an encompassing, omnipotent awareness. Like Emily Dickinson, the poem never left, I think, within kilometres a radius of her existence. She never travelled, and yet wrote the most profound poetry about death, life, and interesting thoughts that where do we get the news from? What is the news? How is it to affect us? My telling of the news, my comedic take has a baseline of humanism and going for the jugular. I will fucking slaughter. I'm done. I'm done with the fucking humanity that abuses children to the beyond the point that my psyche can breathe. That people take home $1,000 a day, while people struggle on pennies. And I've been there. Single mummy, you live with $20 from one paycheck to next, if you're lucky, if you have no family. If I can tell a sad story. Sorry to go off topic again. So, comedy comes from a narrative of the extreme, surreal absurdity that in this quagmire of filth, you drive for an hour and people's homes are filth. Their shops are filth, their streets are filth. There's hungry kids, there's dirty kids, there's barefoot kids. And all we do is ignore. And we don't look the other way and see the complete abstraction of empathy and kindness and fun that comes from an elite level of detachment where wealth and privilege in a world that has always been shiny and beautiful and new. And I think, that's the story of Buddha, who walked away from, because we've got to have the yin and yang, who walked away from the supremely drowning infatuation of incredible wealth and beauty to see reality, and tried so many pathways that didn't work. And that's why I put up a post. To me, the best human beings on the planet are those who've had addiction, those who physically fought to stay alive, those who've stolen. And it sounds contradictory, but they're the neglected children. They're the little human souls who, even as children, do that to stay alive on this planet. You cross a line. There's a line you cross where if you take life or if you torture, you're no longer human. But the petty level crimes and the escape to a constant cannabis or a constant alcohol or a constant nicotine, the trio of unhealing because the pharmaceutical companies that own your soul have trapped you into a chemical level of inservitude. Like to not, Tasmania has the cleanest air and water on earth, and to not provide nutrition and promote that in our children. And I'm plant-based. Fuck vegans. I love them to the depth of my soul, but they're dim-witted and misdirectional, and the rude shit they do embarrasses me. I come at it from the point of having a very high intellect. I will survive better and longer and be a healthier human by not desecrating another creature's body, its pus, its saliva, its urine, and putting any of that into my body. That's just base level common sense. But I am not in any way opposed to anyone eating meat. You go for gold. You do what denigrates, and fucking you go for gold. I'm not there to preach or lecture. And I understand because I have an emotional detachment because my priority, and I do love animals. I love them enough not to hate them, and I don't want them in my space. But I could never, a lovely puppy dog you pet or someone's cat. How beautiful are your pets? You know, how beautiful are animals? A baby lamb, a little chicken. Fucking how can you just, defies logic? Because again, science, intellect, common sense, a base level of humanity where nobody has to be around filth and shit. Literally, like animal waste, like abattoirs are just incomprehensible factories of filth. Like 200 different species in a hamburger. Or parts of animals, or Christ knows what. I'm enjoying my off-topic rant. Thank you so much. So we looked at the show, so the state of things. Then we have a roundup of posts because the news, the feeding of knowledge, only comes to us at the most preeminent level through our media contact. We don't read newspapers. We don't listen to radio shows, and God help you if you do. Like, what are the the BJs? What the hell's a BJ show that the education minister's off on her busy day in a stripy little dress, does all the tick the box shit in one day? Oh, it makes me vile. And none of the posts, none of the news, none of the media information that comes from our politicians is filtered. The sheer fucking idiocy of their low IQ and their interbred employment. And when a forensic, and I'm just going to keep doing my own, forensic auditing of like base level salaries for a population of less than 600,000, to lose 2.5 billion to health, to lose 400 million, and these again are fudged numbers because we have no forensic or clear accountability. This is our money. These are our employees. OUR. We are collective. And I fucking love a good old lady, right? Like, I'll never be a Karen unless I'm in costume. But all my life, to pay taxes, to do the right thing, to pay my bills on time, to never roaming the streets and slaughtering pedophiles, to just be a good, kind, fucking nice person. I carry a recycling shopping fucking bag. And all this atrocity and all this horror and all this shit lands on the planet. And then you turn around and you look at your government and you can't even take a breath. Personally, when all right, I'll finish this up about the show, and then a quick aside about the off-grid, the registering of, I think the easiest and the laziest effort is to get in through the back door, or never corrupt, but I think when you register as a counsellor and then those dumb cunts become politicians, that's the trajectory and the pathway of the harvesting of the illiterate and half-witted and self-important and interbred. Like, one of the most famous quotes about politics is, it wasn't Churchill, but someone of that era or genre perhaps said that their educational choices coming out of the English schooling system of the time in the 40s, 30s, was law, politics, or medicine. And it was only the truly fucking dumb ones that went into politics. That was your choice. If you weren't clever, it was a no-brainer in every literal sense of the word. You just rah-rahed and lived on the money. And you look at, from Henry VIII, desecration of the Catholic Church system and the money he took, and the reinvention of politics via the creation of the Church of England. You as a self-appointed God rip the epicenter out of any society which is faith-based practices or routine at the most basic level. Every society needs its routine. You reinvent a government system, call it a government, and off it rolls. And here we have it 424 years later or something, going, oh, it's politics. This is our Westminster, this is our Magna Carta. And as Americans are beyond polite, their psyche is incredible. They'll take a gun and slaughter, but they won't talk about action or feelings, or everything's very polite, or do. Like, I think if I personally found out that our political leader, be it a federal or state politician or anyone, was 38,000 times involved in child pornography, was at that level, was not as I would personally go there and slaughter. I would take a gun in the most stealth manner. I would not let a living creature in politics and governance still walk the planet when the proof is there. Metaphorically and highly comically, of course. The wheels of motion keep churning, and the justices we create, and justice is just us with the capital us, just as democracy is a mock with the mockumentary. All right, so the show is the state of things. Then we have a roundup of posts, then some live filming, just some genuine feedback. I would love every Tasmanian human's feedback on planet Earth. I think that needs to be an archival record, a penultimate documentary. This was a line in the sand. This is where Tasmanian children are still hungry and homeless. 5,000 people wait years for a decent roof over the head. The standard of rental accommodation is filth and cockroaches and painted toilet walls, that painted Besser block. Oh, people look like they're living in toilets. That's disgusting. You know, like no kindness, no standards, just greed, and an oblivion of greed where an elite wealth who, all the comments that are negative, all that flows back to me that isn't good, I take on board tenfold, because that's my mistake. That's where I'm not learning. That's where comedy's not hitting the right spot. And for some people, wherever they're at in their mental health, in their daily life, they will never find me to be, or whatever I fucking produce to be, the thing that makes them laugh. So light, love and healing, block me, move on. But one little comment made me laugh, because it was the epitome of the snotty Stepford wife. It was, how dare I use such foul language, and especially against Joe Palmer. Like, I could feel the back of the spine rise. It was like, oh, she's such a lovely lady. She's been the nicest fucking newsreader for so fucking long. She's the nicest fucking lady. And that, again, is my disconnect. I wasn't fed my emotions through a channel of a sing-song. And on tonight's news, we're sharing a story. Ha, ha, ha. There's a giant penguin in Penguin. Looks like the penguin rubbish bin that was kicked over by unwarranted youth 6 weeks ago. Like, the fucking mind-numbing shit goes into your psyche. I remember as a child, stats were 250,000 ads going into your brain, selling you the perfect family norm. Now, is it 1 trillion megabytes of illuminated data and fucking fact and comprehensive knowledge and digital implantation and bring on cyber organism. Who doesn't want to have their brain implanted into metal and plastic and live forever? And yet we have this world at this accelerated pace of knowledge and human base level fear and disgust, and the morally right amongst us, the intelligent amongst us, the kind, the decent, the loving, the good people amongst us. We're just taking a breath now. We're just seeing as, I'm nearly half an hour, so I think I'll do 10 minutes and half an hour. We're seeing that data is showing us straight out of COVID in the first decade, and I'm always data driven. I seek the facts, I always seek proof, I look for the truth. There's a humanity that your eyes recognize, that your intake of breath doesn't need qualification. You're a human being, and to say hungry, homeless, fucking abused children, women battered and dying on Tasmanian soil, women with their children living in cars, on couches, the dirty, unknown, backwards fucking treatment of humans by this government, by having a minister for fucking grog and pissing on and gambling and women and domestic violence. I didn't even know there's a fucking minister for women exists. What's this one person going to do for me? Is there a minister for men? Oh my God. There's a minister for... What's the funniest one I've come across? I'll have to keep looking. I need to have a definitive list of the top 11's roles and portfolios and ministerial duties. And finally, and thank you, you wonderful humans. In Tasmania Tonight and the weekly show is mostly and 100% about you. Hearing from you, sharing laughter with you. What comic genre? I'm dark as dark with my humour. Fuck me, I'll go to the darkest place possible. Not out of an infliction of hurt. And I do have a wonderful little, I don't know what you call it. Fuck, I'm getting close to the end. I'm looking at the time. A wonderful little, I don't know what you call it, statement of purpose or fucking goal. But comedy never denigrates or hurts or personally attacks. That's not comedy. Sarcasm is the lowest form. I never go there. It's about the placing of one reality into another reality and reflecting on its absurdism. It fucking hits you in a way that makes you laugh so deeply. Like, two of my favourites is the dickhead bouncing above rocks. Sorry, you had to listen to my coffee. And the dickhead chick, Miss Patrice, fucking listens to the more bitch in the House of Commons. Common sense rules. The fucking Victorian government didn't want to fucking have boats full of firecrackers, but we prevailed, so all the dim-shitted dumb cunts can set fire to shit at each other. Common sense rules and emojis. God, the use of emojis. And I'm putting my foot down. That just denigrates us. We end up Orwellian with one button. You know, we just press one button for everything. We have one visual little stimulative picture to convey knowledge. So thank you for sharing my journey so far. And yes, thanks for coming. And as always, Launceston Comedy, united in laughter. Bye-bye.